Greetings. Welcome to the Yang Style Long Form Tai Chi class on PTTV. I'm Michael Gilman. Well, we've reached a wonderful place in our course where we're now starting the third section. And this is a wonderful time. We finished most of the most difficult balance movements, and now we are just sort of going through some very interesting long movements that I think you'll really enjoy. So we're just going to continue on. I think we're going to be picking up the pace a little bit since by now you've got all the fundamentals down, all the different ways to step and paying attention to all the various elements. So we'll go be adding a few more movements. I think today we'll probably be doing like 3-4 movements or so. So, okay. Oh, ready? Turn the waist. Make sure, as always, that your feet are solidly placed on the ground, knees soft, spine erect. Lots of space and room in your body. Remember, it's so important how you visualize yourself. If you let gravity take over, you're going to get, smashed and compressed, and everything is going to tighten. What you want to do is imagine lots of room and space inside your body, just like something blew you up. And so in between each cell, there's a lot of room. And if you keep this image in your mind, your body will reflect it. And you'll look better, and you'll feel better. So keep up, all right? Rolling down. Rolling up. Shake. Loose and free, loose and free. Shake. Legs shake. Remember, so here we're working on our balance, as strength, as well as loosening the muscles, loosening the hip joint. Do our little kickaways. Shake. Kick, light kicks. Good. Shake. Turn. Rolling down. Rolling up. Wu Chi stance. Again, feeling your root. The bottom half is sinking. The top half is rising. Looking inside, take your vision and pull it in so that you're feeling and seeing your body just the way you want it. Okay, Shokung. Inhale. Open. Gather. And let the energy relax down through you. All right. One thing I want to say that occurs to me about energy, in that, our body is a restrictor of energy. there's so much energy, the universe is energy, and it's all around us, and somehow we take it like a resistor and we focus it down. Our body could not deal with all the possible energy of the universe, of course. So somehow our body takes it and modifies it and makes it available for us. And tension really cuts it off and really chops it down really fast. So we do want to restrict the amount of energy, but we don't want to restrict it down to almost nothing, right? So by getting rid of the tension will allow the energy to be much more alive and forceful and natural. So when you're doing the movements, don't force the energy. When you're thinking about, say, pushing, like you're doing left brush knee, for instance, don't use your muscles and try and push the energy out. That'll only restrict it. It'll only cut it down. You'll get a certain amount of muscle energy, but you won't get that sort of really powerful energy that we're capable of. So when you're doing your movements, open up. Use your mind to visualize sending the energy out, but open your body, soften your body. You see? Yeah. Relax and soften, but use your mind to really visualize this energy flowing like a fire hose. That kind of thing. It's like I'm pushing the energy out, like just opening up from my center like a fire hose and sending it out, rather than trying to push it out and force it out. Yeah, okay. So when you're doing your movements, please try and keep that in mind. Not try to keep in mind. Keep it in mind, all right? Okay. So I think we're ready. I think we'll just move right into the third section. And we're going to do, the first movement is a repeat of Carry Tiger to Mountain, which was the movement, the first movement following the first section, the introduction to the second section. Carry Tiger to Mountain, which also encompasses grasping the bird's tail, which is roll back, press forward, and push. So that's sort of one bit of movement. And then we're going to do diagonal single whip, which is basically the same single whip as number 2, the second single whip that we did, and only done to the corner as opposed to doing it to the wall to our left side. And then we're going to do a really wonderful, one of my very, very favorite movements called Parting the Wild Horse's Mane. And today we have Bijal on camera number 1, who is a horse person and of par excellence, and so I've studied how she treats horses, and that's how I do this movement, kind of very soft and gentle. Okay, so let's start off. Let me demonstrate first the movements that we're going to do, and then Steffi is going to come in and help me be my poor victim today. And then we'll break them up. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do first. So I'll do it from the front. I'll do it from the front first. So from cross hands, carry tiger to mountain. Neutralize, open, lead, and throw. Roll back. Press forward and push. Now, diagonal single whip looks very much like the second single whip that we did, only we're going to the corner. A little bit different, which I will explain to you. Then parting the wild horse's mane. And it's composed of 3 parts: right, left, and right. You see? Okay, so if Steffi would join me, we can demonstrate what these movements are used for. Now, the parting of the wild horse's mane, you probably can recognize it as slanting flying. You see, it's the same movement as when we do, remember, we did slanting flying. This is a movement what we call splitting the energy. You see? And so it's very much the same, only doing it in a sequence. And so in the shorter forms, we're doing the long form, 108 movements. In the shorter forms, the abbreviated forms, they cut out partition of the wild horse's mane because it's so similar to slanting flying. So once you do your slanting flying, you don't have to repeat that. Okay, but in the long form, we do it. It's just slightly different, which I'll explain to you. Okay, so Steph, if you come on in. Welcome, greetings. Yeah. So Stephanie wasn't expecting to be on camera, so she would have.
I would have dressed up.
She would have been, in her formal evening wear. Okay, so the first movement is carry tiger to mountain. Now it's done in the form. If we were doing it, we would be facing like this, and the energy would be going off to the right. But so that you can see it, let's do it in this direction. So that I would be basically here, but so for clarity, I'll come from here. Okay, so in this case, I'm sort of up, so the lower middle section is open. So Stephanie is going to attack and punch towards the center. Okay. So what I'm going to do is join and neutralize, you see, to the side. And as she does that, I open, and as she joins, I just keep her going further than she wants to go. So throw her there, you see. So as she punches in, I throw her here. Now, I then pull her back, you see. After throwing her, I pull her back, and then I throw her again. You see, poor Stephanie is going back and forth and back and forth. So this is carry tiger to mount. First, she comes in. I neutralize and over. As she comes back, this is roll back, and then press, push, and then push. I just get rid of her out of the camera. Okay. So now watch again. Now watch that. You could just end it there. So she punches in. I neutralize, throw her away. Then I pull her back in, press her, and finally throw her out. Okay. Next is diagonal single whip. Now, diagonal single whip is very similar to the number 2 single whip. Okay, so that in this case, Stephanie is coming in with her right side. Okay, now this movement is going to be done, I'll show you diagonally, but for clarity reasons, for seeing it, we'll do it this way. So this is very similar actually to carry tiger to mount in a way. So as she comes in, I neutralize her around. And maybe just slightly higher. So I use this hook hand, right? This hook hand, right? To take her over. This is very useful. Now the hook hand, when she's punching in, if I grab her, I'm committed to this. Now if I wanted to punch her with this, I have to let go of this, and she then has time to do things. Whereas with the hook, you see, with the hook, I've neutralized her, but I'm very free. I'm very free to attack her at any time. So the hook hand is very useful in that term. Okay, so in diagonal single whip, she's coming in. I lead her here and step behind her since she's leading with this foot. And then I throw her over my leg, you see. Okay, so this looks like, it's going to be in the form it's going to look like. I come over, lead her, step behind her, and throw her over the leg. Okay, and next, the last thing is partition of the wild horse's mane. I think I can do this if she comes over here. So I'm going to be coming from single whip. The energy is going to be coming from my right side. Now this, I really like this application. So it doesn't matter which hand this person attacks in the first one. So we'll say she's right, strong right side. So she comes in with the right hand, left foot, doesn't matter. So as she comes in, this is what we call slap down, right? So it's just slap, so she's coming right in, right? It's just a slap down. It's a neutralize. See, I'm neutralizing her in. So I'm going to use what we call double slap. So as it comes in, I slap down, and then this strikes her. You see? So from here, as she comes in, you see it's slap, slap, and chop movement like that. Right? Or I could be chopping her under here. But it's a very fast, this movement is sort of a very fast application. Right? It's just bam, like that, and off it goes. Okay, that's the first one. Now we're going to repeat it 2 different times. The second 2 have the same application in that this time she's been coming to my center. I'm going to neutralize. This is what we call replace step, and we did it with step up, deflect downward, and punch. Step behind her, and throw her over the leg. You see, I like this sort of thing where she comes in here, close her up, step, and throw over the leg. Okay, and then she's going to do the same with this hand. So neutralize this side, step over the leg. Yeah. So that's it, I guess. So you thank you. You can go back home. Okay, so now watch Partition of a Wild Horse's Mane. This is a beautiful, I think, from diagonal single whip, you see. So first, it's slap, slap, slice. Then she comes in the center, neutralize. This is what we call replace step. Step behind and like slanting flying. Then once again, come back, replace step, step behind, and open. So, very nice. We have a very nice group of movements. So let's go, all right? First movement is, now watch it, I'll do it in the direction for you at home. From cross hands, we're going to first sink the weight onto the left foot, pivot in the toe. This is a slightly odd and different way. We've never done this before, of turning in, sinking, and opening all at the same time. It's a little different, but it's very good for neutralizing something out of the way when I'm going to end up going over here. You see, I could do this without changing this foot at all, and I probably should, but somehow I've seen instructors that I like do this, so I said I thought I'd incorporate it into my form. I think it's kind of fun. So as you're staying there, you're going to sink the weight on the left foot and open it at the same time. You're going to open and sink. Open and sink. Then we're going to step off towards the right, where we always tend to go for right push upward and all that, and we're going to do push. Then we're going to roll back, press, and push. Carry tiger to mountain. Now let me do it facing you so that you can see this. Now the hands, so we've come for cross hands. So the 2 hands rise up to their center of the chest. As you sink and turn in this toe, the right hand folds in and the left hand drops down. I'm going to, the energy's coming to my center. I'm going to join with the right hand, the left hand's going to come down. Then, as I lead it, it circles up, and now I'm on Steffi's back, and this pushes her, and this is going to pull. So this is a pull and push at the same time as I throw her to the distance. From cross hands. Sink into the left foot, fold the right hand, drop the left about to waist level. As you open, the left hand starts to circle up. Now I'm on the back. Then step out what we call 30, slightly to the right of the right direction, the right wall, and throw. We then, this hand comes up and we pull back, roll back. We then press and push. Okay, again. Sink and turn in the toe. Pivot, bring up the hand. Step and throw and pull. Then bring the hand up and then come back. Then press together and down and out. Once again, carry tiger to mountain. Sink on the left foot, turn in the toe, relax the hands. Open, bringing the left hand up, then step, throw. Bring this hand up when you're on the forward foot, then roll back. Then press, and finally push. It's nice. This is a nice movement. I like it. There's not too many I don't like. I can't actually even think of one, but sometimes. Sometimes the foot kicks, when I stumble, I get very angry with them. Sink, open, throw, roll back, press, and push. Okay, one more time, I'll flow through it. Sink, join, lead, throw, roll back, press, and push. Okay, let's do it in the proper direction from including cross hands. So we're coming from the last push, apparent close up, a withdraw and push. Cross hands, open, shift. Now most of the weight stays on the right foot so that the left foot is now easy to open, and you carry tiger to mountain. Roll back, press, and push. All right. Next movement is diagonal single whip. So I said it's pretty much the same as single whip number 2. Let me do single whip number 2 and show you again. Single whip number 2 is we came. We neutralized, but do you remember that in number 2, when we neutralized, the two hands stayed up, that the left hand stayed up, then I slapped. It was an open and slap, remember? We came, both the hands stayed up as we then opened. And this is a slapping motion. It's a lighter, whippy kind of thing. Now this time, very similar in that we join in the same way. We lead, only this time the left hand comes down to the waist as you open and step. And instead of stepping all the way off to the left, I'm stepping to the corner. Then, this is a throwing over movement, so the whole body is more involved behind the arm as it rises from the waist. It makes a little arcing motion upward as you shift forward. It's a stronger, more dynamic kind of throwing motion. Now watch again. 1, shift back. 2, turn in. We're going to turn in the right toe to 45. So there's another difference. There's another difference that in the first single whip we turned it all the way into what we call 90 or straight. This time we're going to turn it into the corner. So 1, come straight back. 2, bringing the hand, turn the toe into 45 and make your whip, hook hand. 3, open and step towards the corner. And 4, bringing the left hand up. It's going to end up in line with your left knee, palm facing to the right. Diagonal single whip. And I have really no idea why it goes. This is the only single whip that goes into the corner, and I don't know why, but it's interesting that they stuck it in there. I don't know why. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I do it in some other direction, I don't know what other direction I do it. Oh yeah, so if I'm coming from over here. So this is the way it's going to be done in the form. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's put this together. We'll go from withdraw and push, the end of the second section. So cross hands. So here, most of the weight is on the right foot as we come up. Then turning in the left toe, sinking the weight onto it, opening, stepping off to the right, and throw. Roll back, catch, and pull. Press is actually kind of a squeezing, squishy movement. And finally, down and throw. Diagonal single whip, coming back. Turning towards the corner, turn in the toe 45. Make your hook. Bring the energy back. Step to the side, which is towards the corner, and throw over the leg. Diagonal single whip. Okay. Once more, we'll do this whole little section from the end of cross hands. Back. Now there's a tendency to have the weight on both feet. I have the weight mostly on my right, you probably can't tell, so that now my left is free to turn in. Then I sink the weight onto it, folding in, open, attach to the back, step and throw. Roll back, press. This press is a little different in that this is the right hand is sort of pulling inward as the left hand comes towards it. This is a squeezing kind of motion here. It's actually a very strong kind of striking motion. Squeeze, press, and then push off. Diagonal single whip. 1, back. 2, join. 3, lead. Step behind, sealing the retreat, and then throw over the leg. Fun, huh? Kind of interesting. Okay, so now we get into partition of the wild horse's mane. And The only difficult part of this, that's not even too difficult, but it's a little bit tricky, is the transition into it. The rest of it, I think, is pretty straightforward, and it's something that, and the foot movements you've done before and all of that. But it's just a little different. Now, watch again from diagonal single whip. One, you're going to come over onto the right foot. Two, you're going to then come into your center position and step. And three, you're going to do the slanting flying motion or partition motion. So I'll do it in the direction that we'll normally be doing it, which will be here, at home. So one, shift the weight onto the right foot, and you're basically kind of doing pong or ward off with this hand. Then you're leading the energy down, slapping it down. As you come onto the left foot, the right hand comes up to protect. Left hand comes up to protect, slanting. You're almost in center position here. Step slightly to the right and open. Now traditionally, partition of the wild horse's mane is a little bigger than slanting flying. Like say, slanting flying we'll say is about like this, whereas partition, you can be a little more spread out, a little bigger. That doesn't mean you need to be, but traditionally it's done a little bit bigger. Okay, so once again. One, come to the right foot, kind of warding off. Two, neutralize down, pull into your center. Three, step and chop. Okay, let's look at the foot movements here. We're in the corner for diagonal single whip. One, shifting back, turn in the left toe to face. It would probably be about the corner to the right side. If this is straight, it's a little bit more to the right. Then shift the weight onto that foot, pivot on this toe, and pull it in a little bit. Step off to the right a bit and shift the weight onto it, and you probably have to turn in the back toe a little bit. Okay, again. One, shift the weight onto the right foot, turn in the left toe a little bit farther than straight. Shift the weight to the left foot, pivot on the right toe, and pull it in. Step slightly to the right. Make sure you don't fall on that foot, sinking the weight even deeper into the left foot. And finally, shift the weight forward and turn in the back toe. Let me do it facing you, the foot movement. So I don't know if that'll be confusing or not, but just to give you a different angle. One, shift to the right foot, turn in the left toe. Shift to the left foot, pivot on the toe, pull it slightly inward. Step slightly to the right and shift. Okay? So with the hand movements, let's break this up. Let's look at the right hand by itself first. Just the right hand. I think that might help. Okay, so here we are in diagonal single whip. It's held slightly behind you. One, as you shift, it rotates into a sort of a pong warding off look, palm facing inward. A nice round, don't let the elbow stick up, nice and relaxed. Two, as you shift, the hand rotates and leads the energy down to the left. Stepping, the hand then rotates over as it comes up, and then it slices upward in a very knife-like movement. Keep the thumb slightly inward here. Don't get too tight here, but do keep the thumb slightly tucked inward. Okay, again. One, fold into palm. 2, lead the energy down slightly to the left. Step and slice. Okay, I'll do it facing this direction. 1, turn. 2, lead. 3, step. 4, chop. It ends up in line with your right knee, elbow slightly out. Okay, let's look at the left hand by itself. 1, the left hand comes down in front of the body. 2, it just comes up by the shoulder like in center position. Stepping, then lastly 4, it opens, pulls down to the side. Doesn't do too much, does it? 1, it comes down to the front of the body. 2, it then just comes up to the shoulder, and finally it comes down to the side. Again, this way. 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever the number is. Okay? So together. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to sort of break them up like that, because it's not exactly, actually 2 and 3 are pretty much together. Now watch again as I do this, flow it. Partition of the wild horse's mane. You see, in actuality, the right hand has to be down at the same time the right heel hits out. So you're not stopping. Now watch, what I'm saying is, it's not stopping. So by the time the right hand comes down, the right foot has to hit so that it can just whip right up. You don't want to have it waiting here while the step is happening and then up. You lose all of the momentum. But of course, when we're breaking it down, sometimes we have to, add another number in just so that you step appropriately. Okay? So let's add this into the beginning, into all of this that we're doing. Okay. Cross hands. Weight mostly on the right foot so you can pivot in the left toe. Neutralize, open, throw. Roll back. Press. And push. Diagonal single whip. Turn into the corner, only 45. Neutralize and step. And throw over the leg. Partition of the wild horse's mane, coming back onto the right foot. Lead the energy down, step in, and chop. Okay. One more, this piece. Cross hands. Carry tiger to mountain. Roll back. Press. Push. Diagonal single whip. Lead, step, throw. Partition of the wild horse's mane. Lead, step, chop. Okay, next, partition of the wild horse's mane to the left. So here, we're going to neutralize back, pull in the toe. Step around, replacing the foot. Bring everything over basically into center position as you step slightly to the left and doing the slanting flying motion. Now we did the same foot movement. I hope you remember when we did step up, deflect to after, fan through the back, turn and chop opponent with fist. Step up, deflect, downward, parry, and punch. It's almost exactly the same. Remember, we came back, pulled in the toe, replaced, brought everything over, but here we jumped and punched. Okay. This is very, very similar. This is very similar. Shift back, this neutralizes the side. This is the same. Here we're using an open hand rather than a back of the fist, and we're coming basically into center position. Then we open. You see? Then we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Shift back, pull in the toe, turn slightly to the right side. Then replace the foot. Bring everything over onto the left, roll up, step slightly to the right, center position, and slanting flying. Okay, so let's see, from diagonal single whip. Partition of the wild horse's mane, right, 1, 2, step, and cut. Now, shifting back onto the left foot, pull in the right toe, opening to the left side. Step around, replace, bringing the hand over. Step behind the energy and throw it over your leg. Now Stephanie was punching to the center, so I neutralized to the side, joining with the forearm. Close her up by stepping over, roll up, step behind slightly to the right, and open. Hey, good, huh? Okay, let's do all of this from in the correct direction. One, cross hands. So here, again, I remind you, just a little more weight on the right foot so you can pivot into 45. Sink and join. Open, lead and throw. Roll back. Press. This is a squeezing kind of motion. And push downward and up. Diagonal single whip. Only turning, we're going to do to the corner, turning only into 45, join. Lead, the left hand comes down as you step to the left towards the corner and open. Turn in the back toe, probably a little. Left hand in line with left leg. Partition of the wild horse's mane. Shifting onto the right foot, turn in the left toe to about 45 or so. Boom. Shift back onto the left foot, neutralize down, open the right toe. Step slightly to the right and chop. Next, shift back, pull in, turning to the left, joining with the right forearm. Bring everything over to the right side. Replace. Bring everything over and step towards about slightly to the left and open. Partition of the white horse's mane right again. Come back, neutralize, pull in. Slightly to the right. Open or close up your opponent to the left. And partition right. Throw over the leg. Okay, now, the interesting thing, one of the main reasons why I modified the form. Now, I always say this. Now, if you were to study the traditional Yang-style long form, every single whip would be the same, every raise hands would be the same. Every time it's repeated, it's always the same movement. So it's much easier. What I did was I modified it so that each one is a little bit different because I wanted different energy pathways to practice in the body, sending energy around in my body in different ways. You see? Now this, for instance, this partition of the white horse's mane is an easy example. The first motion, the very first one of the parting is, remember that Steffi came in and I did double slap and chop. The chopping motion, it's a much different energy. The energy just is slightly into the wrist or back of the hand. It's a very light, quick little energy that flicks down, you see. It's done in a whipping kind of motion from the waist. So it's like throwing mercury. I remember when I was a kid, you had mercury in a tube and you would go bonk and it would go funk, like whoop. Or a lava lamp, how you go whoop, whoop. Okay, whereas that's the first one. Whereas in the second one and third one, we're throwing an object, we're lifting it, we have our whole body's energy behind it, and it's mostly energy in the forearm, and it's a much stronger kind of energy using the whole body behind it, as if, I really were lifting and pressing against a weight. So I just think it's healthier to have more energy pathways, and for some reason, it can't hurt, and it just makes it a little more interesting. It makes it a little more difficult to learn, I will grant you that, but once you have it, then you can lord it over all these other people who do the same single whip that you do 10 different single whips, and you say, let's see your single whip, and then I'll show you all of mine, that kind of thing. Now, do you really think I mean that? Well, I might, I don't know. In any case, let's go back again. Okay, from withdraw and push. Cross hands. Turning in. Now here the energy is in the back of the right hand since I'm joined with the incoming energy. As I open, now the energy moves, it's some into the right hand and some into the left because it's now on Steffi's back. And this is a fairly strong movement because you're using your whole waist and torso to propel something forward. Then the energy moves into this right hand and I'm leading and pulling back. Leading back, because she's going to be coming back. I'm not forcing her back. She's coming back, and I'm going to lead her back further than she wants to go. And the left hand doesn't really do anything here. It's leading here with the right hand. So we lead in. Now it's like a kind of squishing a mosquito or something that you're pressing together. Right? That after you lead in the right hand stays, and you press together. Right? But in the form we don't really touch. Just press. Squeezing. Good. Then here the energy in the palms as we join down, just leading slightly down. And then this is really a strong movement, pushing. Your whole legs are moving, not the arms so much. The arms are supporting the weight, but your legs are doing all of the work. Push. Okay, diagonal single whip. We relax the energy to the center. Then energy moves into this hook. It's leading over to the side, stepping to the corner. So I have some energy in the back for sticking. I'm not really doing too much other than sticking with this right hand, a little energy there. And finally, the energy of the whole body gets behind. It's mostly the right leg energy coming to throw the person over. This whole arm is energized, and shoulder and back of this left side all energized. Diagonal single whip. Partition of the wild horse's mane. Again, the energy turns to the center and relaxes. Then light energy into the palm, into the right palm. Light energy into the left palm. And finally, whipping up energy, fairly light, chopping motion into the back of the right knife edge hand. Then energy pretty much relaxes, but moves, awareness energy moves into the back of the right forearm. Light, very light energy leading the energy over, and it then moves into the right palm. Now, I'm going to be pulling down with the right hand at the same time, the left very strong, left, again the left side, back, forearm, from the right leg, a very strong torso turning. Very strong in the torso. Then, partition on the other side, relaxing and just slight awareness energy in the back of the left forearm. And it rolls over and moves into the left palm. And finally back into this right side, back of the right back, the right shoulder, right arm, left leg. Yeah, this is a splitting energy that we do, which is like single whip is splitting energy, and this is in raise hands and play the fiddle. All this splitting energy, when things are moving apart, it's very strong. You know, to rip something apart, it's a very kind of a strong energy, and it's used a lot in Tai Chi. You know, that energy is called lié, or splitting energy. Okay, so next week we're going to make even lots of progress. We're going to do a beautiful, beautiful movement called Fair Lady Works Its Shuttles. We're going to have some review, ward off, left, right, push upward, roll back, press forward, and push, single whip, and Fair Lady. So we're going to cover a lot of ground next week, but it's simple enough, well, relatively, but very nice movements. So I'll tell you what, I will start from our touch point here. We'll go through the movements. I think I'll do it from the front, and then I'll just continue on, and whenever you have to leave, then goodbye. And I thank you once again, as always, for joining us, and pleasant voyage. Thanks. Okay. I think I better start down here some. Cross hands. Carry tiger to mountain. Roll back. Press. And push. Diagonal single whip. turn, remember, only into the corner this time. Lead, step behind, and throw over the leg. Partition of the wild horse's mane. First, guard yourself against the incoming energy. Join with it, lead it down to your left. Then step, seal, and chop. Neutralize to the left. Close it up to the right. Step behind and throw it over your leg. Once again. Neutralize this time to the right. Close up to the left. Step behind and close. Now ward off left. So we're going to use ward off left, just like our usual ward, but using our replace step. Right push upward. Pretty much the same, only using our replace step. Roll back. Press forward. And push. Single whip. A new single whip. This was a fun one. Fair lady works at shuttles. Ward off left.